The best way that I can describe OP07 Carrot is complete and utter disappointment. I have been trying this deck, modifying this deck, adjusting this deck as much as I possibly can. And as unfortunate as it is to say, this deck is really, really bad, especially when you compare it to the deck that is so much better in Bonney. Supernova just has way more tools, and what's worse, they can use the 5-cost Carrot. So the whole identity of this deck is completely negated by another deck that literally does it better and can utilize Carrot even better than this deck can. And I think I should explain largely the curve of this deck just to better show you why it kind of struggles. And in a lot of ways, you want to go first because you want to play Carrot on curve. And if you can, get maybe a Wanda or a Consulate. I might be saying his name wrong. A Consulate. Or a Zoe on curve. So you get a Zoe out on your 3-down turn, and then you can play out a Carrot or an Inuashi. Sorry, I'm not perfect with the names. Or Consulate or a Pedro or a Wanda. But normally, if you're playing first, you want to get your Carrot out. And there are some games you won't find Carrot, and that's with every deck. You're not always going to find your specific curve. But the thing that I've noticed is that this deck falls apart when you can't freeze everything. Because largely, this deck wants to go at face a lot. It wants to be more proactive with what it rests. The thing I don't understand is, this leader ability requires a Mink character on board. And sometimes you're just not going to find your low-cost Mink because you're sacrificing having more one-cost or low-cost characters, such as Wanda or Milky, in exchange for some Don Quixote, a Hody, Zoro, and then Zoe, which is also unsearchable. But the problem is that you're only resting 5 costs. And clearly the idea is you rest a Sabo, you freeze it with Carrot or Inuyasha, and they can't do anything about it. Well, and then you punish them by using Pedro or KOing Pedro to KO that 5 or 6 cost. But that's interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting that all of the big plays for this deck that it has on its mid-round plays, such as Pedro, Carrot, or Inuyasha, all do more? Inuyasha is the only one that freezes a minimum of 5 cost. She freezes 7, and he KOs 6 costs. So why, I ask you, does the leader ability only rest 5 costs when the Carrot SR literally freezes 7 costs? And then I ask you, outside of Ichiji, can you legitimately tell me a single other 7 cost that is played right now? Barely anyone is playing 7 costs right now. So then you ask the question, if this is supposed to be a freeze style deck, and I understand that, you shouldn't let the deck be able to just freeze whatever it wants willy-nilly. But if the deck is forced to freeze only 7 costs, and then anything else you're just supposed to use Doflamingo for, that means that you have to limit your Minks, you have to tech in these guys, and you need Hodys and you need Zoros. I would say Hody is okay, he's not perfect, but when you need him and you get him out, he's fine. And then Zoro is more, it's just like you would prefer Doflamingo over Zoro 100% of the time. But he's good if you're able to get him out. You don't really have another option, especially into the Nami matchup. Zoro is excellent. But the problem is that you need freeze. And this deck, for the most part, can sometimes struggle to find it. And Bonnie doesn't need to find her Carrots or her Electric Lunas to be successful. They add to her game plan. The unfortunate reality is that Electric Luna, Carrot, Inuyasha, Pedro, Wanda, Doflamingo, Hody, Zoe. That's all this deck has. And sometimes it's just not going to work because you can't punish your opponent for playing anything above a 7 cost consistently. And because you want to be going first with Carrot, that means you're waiting an extra turn to play Doflamingo, meaning they can play their 8 drops on curve. And if you're forced to go second, Rosinante is a great play. But considering how popular Stussy or Isho is, all your characters are within KO range with a snap of your finger, instantly. And if you lose your characters, you have no way to recur them. There's nothing you can do. And granted, if you can get multiple carrots on the field, you're sitting very pretty. But at the same time, Zoe is unsearchable. It only resets one Mink character. So if you play one out and swing, you can restand them both, and that's good. But then, what about Pedro? Well, he's a blocker. Rosinante's a blocker. I don't really like the 3-cost blocker because it doesn't have counter. So these are your really only blocker options, in my opinion. And Pedro's fine. But normally if they're KOing Pedro, you're not really seeing it. Because normally they attach one to Isho, they drop down a Gecko Moria, and by that point, if you rest a Dawn with Pedro, it doesn't matter. Because he's gone. And with Isho, he goes down to 1, Carrot goes down to 2, and 2 of your big drops, your 2 big plays, are just gone. So that's the problem. The deck loses to what's meta right now, and it struggles if it doesn't find all its frees. But I don't want that to dissuade you. This deck is very fun, but it just has some very apparent weaknesses that the other green deck, or I guess the best green deck in the game, Bonney, does not experience. Maybe it's something wrong with my list. You can certainly tell me that it is. I would probably believe you. But at the same time, I feel like you just kind of struggle if you don't find your pieces. And because you're searching with Baby 5 to find 10 cost Doflamingo, because you don't have an answer for anything over 8 cost, you can very consistently bottom deck all of your Mink freezes or just your Wanda searchers, and you don't get access to the leader ability. So if there's one thing I would hope for this deck is I would hope that this deck gets a big drop or something that freezes above a 7 cost that is searchable, that I can use or restand, or is consistent like on play and when attacking, like with Carrot, that is leader logged, so that this deck is able to maybe get rid of the Doflamingo package and focus much more on Mink and freezes. But unfortunately, it just can't do that right now. And looking into 09, this deck gets no support there either. So I really hope, going into the future, this deck gets something more. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it will. And I'm going to show you some examples where it works, and I hope that encourages you to at least try it. But I think it's very important to recognize that this deck has some incredibly noticeable weaknesses that are incredibly hard to cover. And because of it being hard to cover, there's not really an answer. Alright, Reiju. Reiju will want to go first. We do find Tendofi, but I would prefer more of the Mink archetype. We find some Electric Lunas. Big. We will pass. As long as we can keep freezing Ichiji's, keep freezing Niji, I think is the blue one, and Reiju's, they kind of have a hard time. But the board flood, the draw power is so strong. It's really hard. This matchup is really, really hard, unfortunately. We haven't drawn into a Wanda, which is unfortunate. But we'll pass. Fordon looks like an Ichiji. Oh, we'll counter 2. Or a Porsche Ichiji. Yeah, just Ichiji from hand. Unfortunately for me. We can freeze that with Carrot, so that's fine. Take, we get that 2k back. Find a Milky. We'll swing 5 at leader. We can freeze the CGG, which is pretty big. We will play Carrot and freeze, and then pass. Alright, define Reiju. Play Reiju. Hand, maybe? I don't have one in trash. Oh wait, they do have one in trash. I'm crazy. I didn't remember they countered with it. My mistake, I'm sorry. And then they play Choppa. 1 Dawn. Hits me for 6, I'll counter 2. Okay, we find Hody. I think Hody might actually be a play here. Because we'll freeze the Ichiji, bully the Chopper, get rid of the Reiju, and swing lead. So yeah, I think Hody. Tap those. Go 5 at Chopper. Go 8 at Reiju. And then we'll go 6 lead, freeze Ichiji. Counter 2 and we pass. Alright, we'll just counter 2. Or counter 1, depending on if they swing at the Carrot. Swing at me, counter 2. We play Reiju. Maybe they play another Ichiji? Hopefully not. But it looks like they can do that. Stage, okay, no Ichiji this turn. Okay, so they have a big one. They find the baby, so that's unfortunately happening next turn. Oh, no, they can just Porsche. Yep. Unfortunate. They probably will go for my Carrot. Yeah, and I have to let her go. Alright. Play Wanda. Wanda finds me a 2k, meaning I can now rest Porsche. We will Electric Luna. We will search with Baby 5 to find a 2k, and then we'll go 7 at lead. Counter. Okay. And then 9 lead. They'll be at 6, so they cannot judge. So one of the big ways you can counter Carrot is just ramp up to 8 and then play judge, and then all those Ichijis that she's frozen, they don't get value anymore because they can just play the little baby out, which is great, by the way. I love that they can do that. But at least we're currently negating two Ichijis, which is very good. Next turn, if we draw 5, we'll play Resonante. Actually, no, we'll just play Electric Luna again, play Pedro, and then just keep trying to swing face. And hopefully they do not find more. They find a 2k, okay. They play Reiju just from hand, alright. Swing 5, alright, it's fine. Swing at me for 6, counter 2. That means we get a rest of this Reiju. Alright, we do find a Carrot. Unfortunately, we do not have stage, so we can't Resonante Carrot and Electric Luna, which would be hype, but we can't do that. So we're going to rest the Reiju, we're going to Electric Luna, we'll play... We'll play Pedro just because they're not going to freeze anything. Nothing to freeze right now. We'll go 7 lead. And then we'll go 9 lead. With Hody. Alright. So they can play Judge, but that only means they get to do 1 EGG. So, I think the only blocker this deck runs is Chopper. Although I might be wrong. He might be running the green one. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. Okay, they trash Pudding. They find a Niji. Play Chopper. Chopper? Oh, no, they just ramp one. I'm sorry. I forget that's how that works. I'm sorry. Alright, they have the baby. They play him. -2 to my Hody. I'm going to try to go for Hody here. Hody for 6. No blocker. Counter 2. And then Chopper number 2. Yep. Alright, we find a Hody. We'll just play it. Chopper and Chopper. We'll go 9 lead. Alright, and we win. Nice. Yeah, Hody is surprisingly really good here. Honestly, I think he's better than Zoro. I might just replace the Zoro, but I feel like you kind of need Zoro to like Nami. So I tech 1 in. But yeah, finding the 2 Hodys was really good. Alright, we're playing against King. This will be a challenge. We find 2 Zos, Carrot, and Electric Luna. I don't want 2 Zos in hand. Doflamingo's good because they're going to be playing 9 Lins and 9 Kaidos. Maybe even 10 Kaido. Fortunately, I can't prevent a 10 Kaido, but it's usually pretty obvious when they play it. Alright, they play Searcher Queen. Searcher Queen finds 7 cost Jack. Alright. We will play Wanda. Wanda whiffs, because Zoe is not searchable. Unfortunate. And that's a Dofi that we bottom deck. And we pass. So they might have stage, but they didn't find it with Queen, so we'll have to see whether or not. But I'm assuming they have it. Normally you mulligan for the stage specifically in an Animal Kingdom pirate deck. So if they don't have it, that messes with their curve a lot. But yeah, they have it. It's fine. We find a Milky. Alright, we find a Baby 5. I could rest and KO this Queen, but I feel like it's just better to put pressure on leader. We find a Rosinante, which is big. We'll swing 5 lead, and we'll play the Rosinante out. Okay, they counter, and Rosinante pass. So they'll go up to 7 with 1 rested, and then they'll go to 10 next turn. We have a lot of 2Ks. We'll go into our 6th on turn, so they play something that hopefully does not KO Wanda. They play Queen, and alright, so that means they're gonna go to 8. Sorry, stupid. They're gonna go to 8 next turn, and that means no Linlin, and that means we rest that Queen and refreeze it. If they don't go, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't swing with that Queen, but hey, you know, whatever, man. But yeah, that's fine. That gives us more life to work with, and hopefully a Hody we draw. In Hody we trust. We'll play a Wanda. Wanda finds us another Carrot. Fortunate Hody bottom deck. We will rest you. We'll play you, freeze, and then swing 5 lead. Alright, they counter again, and then we pass. So hopefully we can get a Carrot down next turn. Actually, we can Rosinante next turn, which is actually very strong. If they King effect, I believe they KO the Carrot here, but that's fine because then we can Rosinante next turn and get another one down and freeze Queen again. Or maybe they just KO Rosinante. But if they go down 2 Dawn, they'll go to 7 and then go back up to 9. So I suppose it's not that bad to leader effect here, just to KO Carrot. And then we Rosinante, and then we will play Dofi next turn. And we're kind of... Well, the only other thing we have in hand is 2Ks, so hopefully we find something through draws. I believe we've bottom decked 1 Hody. I don't remember if we've bottom decked another. Maybe I need to put more Hodies in this deck. 5 at me. We will counter, no blocker, counter to that. Suppose they're getting ready for it. What? -2, -2. Just rest him and then swing for 2 at him. Yeah, I don't know what was the plan there. Yeah, but we'll swing 8, freeze Queen. Oh, sorry, 6, freeze Queen. Hopefully he will start taking. Maybe he's gonna go for a Kaido, but the fact he played a Sasaki, I don't think he'll go for a Tenkaido here. Of course, it's totally possible, but we do have a Rosinante, so I guess you could just ignore it with Jack. One of the greatest cards ever made, in my opinion. Truly, truly do love OP08 Jack. Very based, in my opinion. We'll play her out. No enemies to freeze. We'll go 5 lead. Alright, he'll take again. Trigger. No trigger, okay. Maybe he got like a Gatling. At least my Carrots are prevented to be KO'd by Rosinante. And I don't think... Yeah, his Moria will not be very good. And he'll have to Kaido if he wants to KO it, or Sabo, and then he'll have to use something. So we'll see. But now I believe he just gets to use his leader ability however he wishes. If he Kaidos... Yep, there's Kaido. He will have to decrease cost to KO Rosinante, because I believe Kaido only does a 7 cost, or trashes a 7 cost. Yeah, oh wait, I'm sorry. It trashes, so it doesn't... It goes through Rosinante's effect. But he shouldn't be able to KO my Rosinante here. So hopefully he just swings. And I get to play Doflamingo. Because Jack doesn't put it in the trash, he just KOs it. Yeah, KO up to one of your opponent's characters costs 3 or less. So he could Jack effect to get rid of my blocker. I have to trash a card. I'll trash the baby 5 and keep the 2Ks. Let's see what he does. Ice Age. Yep. unfortunate. I suppose that's how it crumbles. We will protect the Rosinante, though, with the blocker. And then draw a card. Swing. With leader? Nice. Okay. We'll take that. Let me find Pedro. And we draw into another Dofi. Alright, I got really lucky. I'm going to be totally honest. I do not deserve this. We'll rest Queen. We'll play Dofi. Freeze, freeze, freeze. And then we'll swing 6 at lead, freezing that Queen. Okay, the counter, okay. We'll go 5 at lead. They take. So their hand must be freaking really hard if they're letting me do this. And then we'll go 8 with Rosinante and they take. So we should be able to go for game next turn. They certainly can't, go for a game against me here, so... Even if they 9-lin, they have to trash a card. That's 2 cards out of hand. Then they heal, and then they put a life, give me a life. So we'll just see. We'll swing with our characters. We'll freeze Queen, and then if I need to, I'll play Dofi. We'll play reactively based on what he does. Okay, they play Queen. I draw 2 cards. Trash 1 from hand. So they might have another Queen. I don't know if this. I don't think this deck runs any other blocker. Maybe Rebecca. It is a black deck, so I wouldn't be too surprised if they ran Rebecca. Alright, for 4 they play Borsalino. Going to try to KO something. Probably Carrot. I think I counter to save Carrot, honestly. 2k, 2k, 1k. Carrot lives. Then I think they can draw a card, right? Yeah. Alright, they draw. We will rest Queen. And then we'll go 5 lead. Okay, they counter. We'll go 6 lead, freeze Queen. Counter 2. 8 lead. hand was bricked up before, so if they drew into like 3 2Ks, I'd be surprised. Okay, they block. No blocker. Attach everything to Doki and swing for 20. Nice. Alright. Against Marco. They'll go first. You can see Carrot or Dofi, and we mulligan. We don't find much better, but we do find an Electric Luna and Inurashi. Inurashi, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. I try. Alright. Unless we draw into a searcher, we don't have a play. But on our 4-down turn we'll play so and then swing for 7. So that's good. We bottom deck something, find Carrot. If we don't have a play, we pass. Alright. Looks like they don't have one either currently. Okay, they bottom deck something again. Looks like they're breaking a little bit. Alright, we find Wanda. Alrighty. So we'll play out Zoe, rest, get a Dawn. We'll swing for 6 first. Probably 2Ks this. Not quite sure. We will see. Okay, they take. And then Wanda to find me. I have freeze. Honestly, I'll just take the 2K. Dofi that we bottom deck, gotta remember that, and we'll pass. I have to remember Seaquake. You can Seaquake my low drops. Seaquake is 3K, so Carrot and Inurashi is fine. They play a blocker, we'll just freeze it with Carrot. Which looks like that's what they're gonna do. Swing for 6, we can take that, find a Zoro. Oh, and they play. Alright, well we still have Carrot. Rest. Wanda finds take another Carrot. Freeze. Rest. Give Dawn. 6. Pay 2K. And then we pass. Okay, no ace. So I'm assuming Marco. I think Marco KO's 4 costs, 4,000? That might be crazy, or 3,000. It's 4,000 or 3,000, I don't remember exactly. But they give it to Carrot, so that's probably what's happening here. Or maybe like Fire Fist or something. Yeah, it looks like Fire Fist. Yep, if you're unaware, that's Fire Fist right there. Pretty good card. For 6, we can take, keep the Electric Luna, go Flamingo. We're gonna be at 8. Search for Don Quixote. We whiff. Unfortunate. Just about my luck, honestly. We'll rest Dofi. Play Carrot. Freeze him. 7 at Pudding. Okay, Pudding dies. Can't withstand anything. I wish this event card was still like exclusive to Minx, but like you could restand anything. If you could do that, it'd be so good. It would be incredible. But unfortunately, that's just not how the cookie crumbles. But yeah, like the best you're gonna get out of Minx are 5 costs, which are super easy to KO. Thankfully,
that's just how red operates. Looks like they Fire Fist separately this time. Then KO Carrot. Oh wait, he's not at 2 life, so that doesn't get any value. They just play Pell out, and they swing at my baby 5. So they have Pell out. I could elect, honestly, I think just being aggressive. Actually, I can just play Zoro. Yeah, let's just Zoro here. So we'll rest Pell. Swing at Doflamingo, freeze Pell. This is one of those times you actually can drop Zoro, but I feel like the Marco is bricking more than I'm actually outplaying him. So I guess they're thinking about it. They don't save it. We'll play Zoro. Rest. Give leader 2 Dawn. Swing for 7. They take. We pass and restand Carrot. So yeah, in this instance, Carrot is good, which she can restand herself, because the Marco needs to use events to KO her. It's just Moria just doesn't matter. Get an Isho down. Isho is the bane of green decks. Put it on him. Next turn, you whip out that Gecko Moria, and the whole board is gone. It's really, really unfortunate. Alright, looks like they're going to do a Sanji combo, I'm assuming. Okay, maybe not. Alright, counter 2. He's at 7, so we'll put him back up to 9. Let's do 10. Go 9. That's game.